Hi! Welcome in this tutorial video, where I will show you how to design a modern front page for your online store. We will use PrestaShop and Creative Elements Elementor-based page builder. Now here is the example page what we're going to build together. It is a fashion store, but don't worry if you would like to build a different kind of online store that sells different kind of products, maybe electronics, toys, home appliances or books. It does not matter. Everything you're gonna learn in this tutorial you can apply in building in your own store. The only difference will be the actual products on sale. On this front page we have a banner which can highlight a specific product or category. After this comes another section which is a custom selection from different categories. We have a section for the bestseller products with quick view possibility and a link to other products as well. In the next area we have another banner which can emphasize our actual sales and discounts. I will teach you how you can create a fancy newsletter subscription block. We don't forget to create a simple list with our shop brands, and another section with the frequently asked questions. So in this tutorial I am not holding anything back. Okay, let's go to the back office. If I open the front page, you can see that not only a header and footer is visible, because previously I have switched off all the modules which was on the front page to make a clean start. Let's go to Design Creative Elements Page Builder menu point. Here in Content Anywhere mode you can edit your home page through Display Home hook. Click on Edit with Creative Elements button. On the top left corner in the editor view you can set up the default global fonts, which I did previously for headlines, body texts and accent text. In Color Picker menu point I set up the colors which we will use on the site. These settings can speed up the designing process. You will see soon how. Okay, let's start creating our first block. We will use a 2 columns layout. On Style tab of the section we will change the background color. Here on the bottom of the color picker you can see the predefined colors which makes very easy to select the appropriate one. Use stretch section option to make the section full width. For the content width you can set a custom width which you prefer. Now I will set this to 1400 pixels. Now let's add our first widget to the left column. You can just simply drag and drop a widget from the list on the left. Let's write our title there. Then set the typography. We can use a bigger font size to make bigger attention on it. With a bolder font weight. Let's add an image to the right and choose an image from the image manager for it. As you can see under the image there is small space because of the columns gap. We can remove it in the section settings very easily. It looks much better now. We will add a small space above our image in the Advanced tab, so her head won't be so close to the top of this section. Now drag a text editor widget above our heading. Let's delete the default text and write "Say hello to" mode. Here we will create a nice title with a handwritten font type. Since the texts on the left are oriented too much to the top of the section, we will make it look better in section layout settings. In Content Position parameter, you can set the content vertical alignment to the middle. Let's drag a button under our texts. This will be our call to action button, which can bring to the product or category page. We can choose even an icon with a small spacing. We will set a transparent background for the normal state with a rounded border around it. Let's adapt the design of the button to our page. We will use 2 pixels for border width. And a bigger border radius, so our button will be rounded. Now fine-tune the font typography. Our button's caption will be uppercased. We use a little more space between the letters so the button will be more readable. Let's do a nice color and effect for the hover state of this button. With an animation, you can make it more attractive. I think we will need a little more space above and under the heading, so let's open its settings by clicking on the element. On Advanced tab, we can set a little space for the padding values. For the small title on the top, we will set up a different color for the first 2 words. I'll show you how. Since we removed the columns gap, the margins around the columns are removed, which means that on smaller screen sizes or text will be too close to the edge of the device. We can manage this by adding a small padding on the left side. Okay, we are ready with our first section. Let's jump to the next one. In this section, we will show the main advantages of our shop. We will need a section with 4 columns. With the previous method, we set a white background for this area and stretched to full width. We will use the same width as above. Now add a little more space for this section above and under. In this area, we will use the icon box widget. This widget has a lot of styling options too. You can align it to left, right and middle. We will use the left alignment now. After this, we set up the colors from our color schema and pick the correct font sizes. Using a bigger line height, the title will better fit to the icon. I remove now a few words. On the Advanced tab, we add some more spaces around the widget. We can write our own title and choose an icon from Font Awesome Icons. Here the quick search feature comes in very handy. After we are ready designing it, we can simply duplicate it with this icon and move the copy to the next column. Add some title and choose icons for it as well. Of course, on your live site, you should add some simple description to it. As you can see, the process is the same for the remaining two. And here we are ready with one more section. We were fast, weren't we? Let's jump to the next section where we will show some of our most important categories. Set a smaller content width. Here we will reuse our previously created elements for the title, just modifying the content a little, so we can speed up the process. I remove one column. Change the title to explore our categories. Duplicate and move the copy to here. Set the font size to a little smaller. Align it to the middle and don't forget to set the HTML tag to H3, because it is less important as the main headline. It's good to pay attention to these things from an SEO standpoint. Drag a divider under the headline and set it to 10% width. Align to the middle. With this small left arrow icon, you can see the preview quickly. Let's add a two-column section where we will build a nice layout for the categories. This is going to be a little tricky, so pay close attention. We will use the columns widget, because using this element we can easily achieve an even distance between the images. Now I set the columns gap to the containing section to no gap and the layout is ready. After this, we can drag the call to action widget to the left side. Let's immediately choose a category image for it. Set the skin to cover, so you will have the image under the contents. Eliminate the title and description so we will have only one button in the middle. Write the name of the category into the button. To make it look like a square, set a bigger height. Now when you move your mouse above the area, you can see that the image and the button both grows. I remove this from the button so only the background will animate. Let's design the button to make it more visible. We add a white background and a dark text color. Make the button rounded. With an arrow, you can make it even more attention-grabbing. It looks nice. Let's duplicate it. Change the background image. And make it 280 pixel height. We are ready with the next category. After that, only the two smaller ones are left. We set it up just like before. Don't forget to fill in the URL of these categories. You can do it here. Don't worry about the bigger space between the elements on the right side. If you check the preview, you can see how it looks like really. The spaces are equals as they should. The page looks really nice so far. Let's continue our work with the next section where we will show our bestseller products. For this section, I will reuse the section from the categories. Remove the items from this section. If the title is ready, we can add the product grid widget. It will appear with the default skin from PrestaShop Classic theme. Let's change this to the custom theme, where we will have more styling options. In listing parameter, you can choose from more listing types. On the Content tab now we will use bigger image size so they will fill the product boxes better. We don't need now the Add to Cart button and some of the badges to make it cleaner. For the quick view, we will use an icon which expresses this feature more. Between the rows, we can set up a little more space, so the products will not be crowded. Let's set a little bigger font size with different font family. For the old prices we will use a light color, and for the actual price a little darker. On the bottom we don't forget to add a button which can bring to our catalog. For this we can reuse the button from the top with a little change. Align it to the middle. Now a little more space on the bottom and we are ready with this section too. Our next section will present a discount. For this we will need a 2-column section. With a yellow background color. We will place an image to the left side. On the right side we will need a button, so we can reuse this button from above. Align it to the left. Let's place a text editor widget above it which will contain the discount value. Wrap it into 2 lines. Choose a dark font color. Lower font family. And a bigger font size. The content is too high, so I change its position to the middle. We can remove the gap to around the columns. I would like to highlight the discount value a little more, so I change the text color to red. Above the text we will add a tag. Here we will use a little trick, because we will create it with a button widget, because it is very easy to style. Let's write our title in. Set a white text color. A smaller font size. To make it more readable, we add a little more space between letters. And nice rounded corners. For our button we can write the title. And don't forget the icon too. Okay, we are ready with one more section. Let's take a look on the full page how it looks now. I will save the actual state. And if you click here to the small X, you can see your front page live. It looks pretty decent so far. The next section will be the newsletter subscription. Let's get started. We will need only one column now. Choose the white color for background. We will use 800 pixels width now. Let's add some padding for the section. Now we will create a solid border around the column with a light color. You cannot see it actually, as we have not yet inserted any elements. Inside the column we will add a little padding too. Just like before, we will reuse the titles from above. Write in our new title. Colorize the selected words to red. We will need this other title too. After we are ready with them, we can add the Essence the email subscription widget. We set a smaller width for it. Align to the middle. And I would like to make a small space between the button and the email field. Little styling to fit the page better. Red color for the button. Rounded corners. Let's make changes to the typography too. Use smaller font size. Uppercase letters. Some more letter spacing. And don't forget to add some padding on the button. For the email field, we will add rounded corners too. And a light border color. After this, we will add a small description with privacy policy and terms of services link. Let's write in our text. Align it to the middle. Set smaller font size. For the privacy policy text, we will add a red color. And here, if you click on the anchor icon, you can write in a link. We will build the next section really quickly. It will contain an image carousel widget with the brands of our shop. Choose a gray background color. And 1280 pixel width. Drop an image carousel widget in the column. And choose a brand image for the first item. Here you can write in the URL of the page. After this, add more items to the carousel. As you can see, the widget shows only 3 items. Here you can set it to 5. Let's add a small place above and under the widget to make more space around the images. Now you can add the other images to the carousel. After we are ready by selecting all the images, let's have a look how the homepage looks now. And yes, we are almost at the end now. The last section is coming, which will contain the most frequently asked questions. We can reuse the titles from the subscription section. Let's add a little more padding above and under it. Modify the texts. In the section settings, we can modify the structure to give more space for the right column. A little more line height will help to make the title more readable. OK. In the right column, we add a toggle widget. It will contain our question and answers. Let's add a border around it. Make it rounded a little. With a bigger line height, it will be cleaner. It looks great. Duplicate it. Now we can write in our questions and answers. After this, save and look the home page live. It looks really great. Now that we are ready with the designing process, we can fine-tune the layouts for tablet and mobile devices. In the lower left corner, you can change the editor to desktop, tablet and mobile view. Let's change it to tablet mode. As you can see, the size of the text is too big, does not fit the area, so we need to reduce it. The categories look fine. Here in the sale block, the text on the right looks not so good. Let's fix it. In the subscription block, we can add a little margin around the box so it will look much better. For the brands, we can add one more item for tablet view. Even so, the icons will be quite large. In the FAQ section, I will move down the title a little. The page looks great on tablet. Now we can fine-tune it on mobile. As you can see, this upper part does not look so good. Let's align the elements to the middle. We need a little more space above and under this column. I think this section would be much better if the image were above the content. In the section Advanced Parameters, there is a parameter which can make the columns reverse on mobile. Let's activate it. So, it looks much better. Now we can remove the margin top above the image, because we don't need this in the mobile view. And I think we can leave a small space on the left and right side. On the category listing, the first widget is too high. In the style settings, we can add a different height for mobile. So, the categories are now the same size. The images of the product are too small. So let's go to the grid settings and choose a bigger image size for the product boxes. The page starts look better and better. Here in the discounting area, we can fine-tune the look again. We align the widgets to the middle and adding a small padding around them. The newsletter area needs also some improvements. We should give smaller padding around it. Also, we should set the input field and subscribe button into 2 lines. I think we need to add a little more space. And full width button. The brands will be okay so. In the next section we can align the title to the middle and place a little more space. As you can see, some of the toggle widgets titles are in 2 lines. We need to make the font size a little smaller so they can fit in 1 line. Let's start with the longest question. After we are ready with both of them, we can have a look on the full page. I think we will need a little more space here. Let's save it. As you can see, the desktop version was not affected by our changes. Alright, so that's it. We have successfully designed our homepage and I hope you are happy with the look. Of course, it can be always improved, but I think this is pretty decent and it would attract any potential customers to your website. Thank you for watching.